Just to keep updated. Just to keep updated.
Hello, everyone. We'll be starting in 10 minutes. We're waiting for you all, and we hope you join us soon. Hello, everyone. I'm actually excited to be here. My name is Habiba Bature, and with me is my lovely colleague, Jamila Yusuf, and we'll be discussing investments in the 21st century. You know, it's really been an amazing year. The past 2 years has been really tough, you know, with the COVID recovery from the COVID-19, you know, and all of that. Really, we hope this would be an interactive session and we'll encourage comments coming in, you know, we'll be asking questions and would answer most of your questions as soon as we can after the presentation. Now, Noren Beja is a leading integrated financial services group that offers a range of bespoke financial products and services tailored to meet your long to short-term financial goals through a smart and sustainable investment strategy. And most importantly, we're actually licensed and regulated by the Security and Exchange Commission. So join us because we know that this would be a very interesting session. Jamila, what do you think? It's really been a tough year, you know, with all of the inflation going up, you know, the price of goods and services that went up 30%. And imagine buying maybe a cup of gari, for instance, at 350 naira, and today you are buying it at 450, 500. It's really been a tough one. What do you think, Jamila?
I must agree with you, Abiba. You know, for me, I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody. I'm in severe pain. You know, getting to the market and finding out the price of meat rose from 1,500 to 2,500 naira per kilo. Wow, it was scary for me. So I know, I really know that it's important for people. I really want people to know that it's important to know that now is the time to invest. And I believe that at the end of this session, people will understand the importance of financial planning.
Wow, that's true. Permit me to ask this question, really. What are you doing with your funds? What have you been doing with your income? Have you been chopping everything that has come to you? Every money that comes to you, you spend everything. Let's share on the chat, you know, let's talk about it. Somebody just made a comment now that he can't hear. I don't know, maybe we need to increase the volume or something, but I don't know if you can hear us now. Can you hear us now? Because we want to make this as interactive as possible. Can you hear us now, sir? Okay. All right, thank you very much. So like we were saying, tell us what you've been doing with your funds. What have you been doing with your investments? Who have you been investing with? Have you been saving? You really need to share with us. Let's know your experiences. But we're going to talk about the current economic realities in the markets. If you look at it, people are slowly recovering from the COVID-19. And as a result, like I said before, there was a rise in the price of goods and services, higher cost of living as a result of that. So the same money you had, let's say you had an income of 20,000 naira, is the same income you need to use to buy what is more expensive today, which means your purchasing power has weakened. It has actually reduced. So that has been a problem for some because some have actually lost their jobs as a result of this effect. You know, unemployment rose up to 33.3%. You can imagine how huge that is. And some people actually had a pay cut. Now that has caused an increase in poverty. And remembering that our currency is actually weakened because a lot of people are really running to buy dollars, you know, doing their best to hedge against the inflation risk. So those are the little things, you know, we're looking at. Like somebody just said now, he said, I have not invested yet, but I am saving. That's a very good one. And someone just said here that sometimes to know how her income is exhausted, she needs to know how her income is exhausted, you know. But the truth is, this is actually the best time for us to invest. Now, I'm going to really talk about this Ponzi scheme thing because people are looking for a solution. People are looking for a way to make things better. Ponzi schemes come in and offer them 40%, 50%, high returns. Remember, the higher the return, the higher the risk. So you take it. You don't think about the track record. You don't do your checks and balances. You don't do your due diligence. You just put in your funds into places like this. 3 months later, you come back and discover that their office is no longer there. Their address is no longer valid. And your funds are gone. Now, there's a confusion between the Ponzi scheme and a full-fledged financial service company. Now, we are going to talk about that over time as we're going through the presentation. But we're going to talk first about why you need an investment strategy. Jamila, why do you think people need an investment strategy? I know, first of all, emergencies are the first thing we actually have to work on. You need to plan for emergencies. You have a healthcare emergency. You have maybe you have a flat tire, unexpected things that can happen to you. What are your plans against it? And it's very easy to know people that don't have emergency strategy, that don't have something to fall back on. Now, one of the things is you start trying to borrow. And us Nigerians, when you come to us, we'll tell you, if you had come 5 minutes ago, if you had come yesterday, I would have had money to give you. So we need to realize that sudden emergencies will happen. Like financial, as they always say in the financial world, the most trustworthy things, the things that eventually would happen to you, are taxes and death. And we also add eventualities and emergencies. What are you doing about it? How are you preparing for it, Jamila? What do you think?
Okay, so like the name implies, emergencies, there are things you don't plan for. It just comes up, like your car stops on the road, your child falls ill. So it's reminded me of a period during the lockdown period when my son fell ill. I had an investment that I'd forgotten, and salary was 2 weeks away. You can imagine if I didn't have that investment, what would have happened to me?
Wow.
So at this point, investment is necessary. They are what you fall back to during emergencies. So if I didn't have investment to fall back to, what do you think would have happened to me, Abiba? I would have suffered. Maybe I would have even gone to borrow, which would not help me by the time my salary comes in.
Really, that's really interesting, because you also need to know another reason why you need an investment strategy is to achieve your investment objectives. What investment objectives are you setting for yourself? What kind of objective do you want to achieve? You want to send your child to a good school? What are the objectives? What are the plans? What are the strategies you are putting in place to achieve that? You want to buy a house, maybe in the next 3, 4, 5 years, 10, 15 years. What are your strategies? What are you planning for? If not, it's still a pipe dream, because you're still dreaming about it in your head. So the thing is, you need to deliberately set an objective and know what you're looking out for before you can achieve whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And then nobody wants to suffer at retirement. So you need to have a stress-free retirement. That is another reason why you need an investment strategy. One of the biggest fears retirees have is running out of money at retirement, because when you retire, what happens to you? You no longer have regular income that comes to you at the end of the month. So of course, your pension is what you are relying on, or maybe other plans you must have put in place before your retirement, hoping you did. And then when that time comes, you run out of money. Can you imagine how disastrous that would be if you have that? Imagine working at that age, at retirement, still running around doing all the things you used to do when you were quite younger. That is not anybody's prayer. So that's another reason why you need an investment strategy, because at that time, you're also taking care of your health, and that also eats into your income that you're keeping. So at that time, you're protecting what you have saved over time, and you're preserving it. So you need to also budget and plan for it. That's another reason why you need an investment strategy. Jamila, maintain and improve your standard of living is yet another reason why you need an investment strategy. Don't you think so?
Yes, because nobody wants to stay stagnant in life. We want to grow. Like me, at the age of 40, I think I should be done by then. By the age of 40, I should have my house. I want to improve my life. So I went to a school here in Nigeria. My university was here in Nigeria. I want my children to go not to school in Nigeria. I want my children to go to one of the best universities in Nigeria. So that is improving. Don't you think that is improving my standard of living?
Sure, it sure is. And another reason why you need an investment strategy is that you need to accumulate wealth for yourself, my sister. Not everybody was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Some of them is pako. Some of us, we have to grow it by ourselves. So you have to grow that wealth for yourself. Everybody wants to be rich. There's nobody on this earth you ask if they want to be poor that they will say no. Yes, they want to be poor. But what are you doing about it to accumulate that wealth for yourself? That's another reason why you need an investment strategy, because that strategy will help you know what you need to plan for, what kind of funds you need to put aside, which part of your income you should put aside, how long it will take you, and how much you can accumulate for yourself. So if you sit down and actually map this out, it will help you to know what you can do to accumulate wealth for yourself. And then most importantly, it also helps you to hedge against inflation. Imagine buying Coke lovers. You need to tell us how much was a bottle of Coke 10 years ago. Don't lie, for those of you that used to drink Coke very well. Confess now and tell us, how much did you use to buy Coke 10 years ago? Tell us. Write it on the comment section. We're waiting for you. And imagine using that same money you were using to buy Coke 10 years ago, and you bring it today, and you say you want to buy a bottle of Coke today. Can you buy a bottle of Coke with that? You can see everybody saying 15 naira, some are saying 15 naira. Imagine carrying 15 naira today to buy a bottle of Coke. Is that possible? No, it's not. Some are saying 35 naira, they used to buy a bottle of Coke. Can you imagine that? So you can see how much inflation needs to be hedged against. Because if you put that 15 naira into an investment, today, you will be able to buy that bottle of Coke with whatever amount it is. That is another reason why you need an investment strategy. So you need to know that inflation is another thing you need to work on. Now, this also takes us to the different steps in the investment strategy processes. We need to look at the financial life cycle. How many of us know what we were doing with our funds at the age of 18 to 25? Can you remember? Drop it on our chat box. Let's laugh with you, because I'm going to laugh at a lot of you. What were you doing at that time? You didn't have wife, you didn't have husband, you didn't have children, you didn't have anything. So what were you doing with your money at that time? Because most of us were even in school at that time, at the age of 18 to 25. We were big spenders. We were spending money. Buy that shoe, buy that bag, live like a big girl. Like me, I had 5 uncles and I calculated it. By the time my 5 uncles give me money, when I get money from all of them, by the time I resume school, I'm resuming as a big girl. Now I'm spending every single thing that comes to me. So the idea is, at this stage, what we advise is this is when you should start planning for your future. So at this stage, you should be able to budget. And you're young, so you have time. So you can do a lot of investments. Like someone here said, I personally did not have any value for money, which is very true. You will not value money at that time. All you're thinking about is buy, spend, spend, spend. But at that time, you should be investing. Someone said he was buying darling yaki. She was buying darling yaki. I can imagine that. We want to live as big girls. Somebody said she was buying biscuits. So at that time, that's what you were doing. But that was your consumption stage. You were consuming everything that comes to you. So we always advise, tell the younger ones that are coming up at this stage. Imagine if we had saved earlier, how our life would have been. Maybe it would have helped our life small, and would have been better off. Now we're now trying to do what we can to do last minute running around to gather what we can gather. So we need to learn from this and teach the younger ones coming up. Now, the accumulation stage. This is the stage where you are acquiring assets for yourself. You're trying to preserve what you have. You're trying to grow something for yourself. You're no longer thinking about yourself anymore. You now may probably have a wife or a husband. You're thinking about, okay, I need to live a rented apartment. I need to start saving. I need to start budgeting. I can't spend everything I have because I have school fees to pay for. So these are the things at this point we're also saying, continue investing. Now for the consolidation stage, can you imagine paying school fees in Abuja? For 5 children in private school in Abuja. Can you calculate it and see? You just know that one immediate gray hair will just appear on your head. Why? Because of the pressure of all the expenses you need to make. So at this stage, you're maintaining what you have, you're protecting what you have saved over time, and your assets. So if I come in today and tell you, bring this money, I want to put it in MMM, what would you do to me, Jamila?
Everybody, I'm not going to listen to you because we've heard of what people went through putting money into MMM. They sell it, the higher the risk, the higher the return. The return
Exactly
was so tempting. Was so tempting at that period. But let me tell you right now, with what I know, with the knowledge of finance I have, I don't think I will listen to you.
You send me out of your house.
No,
Please come and be going. So that's the thing. So at that stage, you're protecting and you're looking for different places you can put your funds. Very verifiable places you're comfortable with. You're looking for places like that so that you can protect your funds and help it to grow. So that's what we recommend. Look for asset classes, look for investment instruments, look for places you can put your investments that will grow for you and give you good returns on your investments. Because if you do that, it will help you hedge against inflation. And you need to know the difference that saving money and investing money are not the same thing. They are really not the same thing. Saving money is money you put aside for the future, while investing is what you put aside that will also make your money to work for you. We're going to still talk about that as we go on. Now, the dissipation stage. At that stage, you're retiring. Like I say, one of the biggest fears retirees have is to run out of money at retirement. Nobody wants to be in that position. But what are you doing today? So every bread you eat, and what I mean by bread is your salary, your income, money that comes to you now that you're very young. At this stage, every money that comes to you is money that you cannot eat completely. Because some of these breads that you are eating, you remove some as seed and plant it for yourself for tomorrow. Because like the Bible says, permit me to use the Bible, it says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Even in the Quran or in other the good books, the idea is for you to leave something, leave a legacy for the next generation. Even if you can't, at least shall have something that you have that will sustain you during that period. That's what we're trying to say at that stage. Now, this takes us to the different steps in the investment strategy processes. You need to establish an investment goal using the SMART theory. I want to buy a car. What kind of car do I want to buy? Smart. I want to buy a house for myself. Which house do I have in mind? I want to send my child to the best schools, like Jamila mentioned. Which school do you have in mind? You need to be specific. If not, the truth is, it's still a big fat dream. Sorry to say. Now, your goal needs to be measurable. What am I putting in place to achieve this thing I said I want to achieve? This objective I'm trying to achieve. I want to buy that car. What am I doing today so that I can buy that car? How much am I putting aside today so that I can buy that car tomorrow? How long will it take me to buy that car for myself? And then you need to be realistic, achievable and realistic for yourself. Imagine earning 50,000 naira and you say you want to buy a house in the Banana Island. Please, my sister, is it possible? It is not possible. So you need to be true. Only you yourself, your pocket, and God knows what is going on. So you need to know and be true to yourself and know how much you can afford and how long. Like I said, most importantly, T is time bound. That's the most important part of it. Specific, measurable, and achievable, realistic, and most importantly, time bound attached to it. So you need to know your short-term plan, your medium-term plan, and your long-term plan, and know what you need to do using those goals that you've set for yourself. So if you put a timeline attached to it, it makes it easier for you because you know, okay, in the next 6 months, I want to get married. These are the measures in place I need to do. In the next 10, 15 years, this is what I want to do. I want to buy a home for myself. These are the measures I need to put in place to do that. In the next 35 years, I want to retire. These are the measures I need to put in place to ensure that I retire well, And then you need to know your risk tolerance. You need to know the kind of investments that your heart can tolerate. For some people, they cannot buy shares because if the shares drops today, it affects your capital. You won't be able to sleep. You'll have a heart attack. People have died in the past as a result of the stock market. So you need to know the one your heart can carry, and you know the kind of investment that suits you. So we have high risk investment like the stock market. We also have conservative investment for the conservative people that just want their money and their capital intact and their rest of mind. They're getting their returns, they're seeing it gingerly, and they're fine. So you need to know your risk tolerance and know the kind of investment that will suit you. And you also need to know that you cannot mismatch your investment strategy. So for instance, you have a short-term plan. You can't put it in a long-term investment. Or you have a long-term plan for yourself and you put it in a short-term investment. So you need to look at all of those things. And then you need to develop investment strategies to achieve those set goals. For instance, you can't say, I'm putting my money in a savings account and I want it to help me to achieve my set goal. No, you have to put it in something that your money will be growing for you, so that you know that as long as you're adding funds to your investment, your money is also growing. So something is also being added to what you're investing. That makes more sense. Like I said, there's a difference. Emergency fund and having an investment are two different things. You need to have an emergency fund in case of eventualities. These are things that will surely happen unexpectedly. You need to have like 3 to 6 months expenditure set aside, maybe in your bank account that you can use your ATM to come to at any point. But you need to also have a plan for the future to achieve your goal. Now, another step in the investment strategy process is compound and diversify your portfolio, Jamila. What do you think?
So when we talk about diversifying of portfolio, this simply means not spreading your risk, not putting all your eggs in one basket. So you spoke earlier about the higher the risk, the higher the return. You know the kind of risk you can take. Don't do investments that will not make you sleep well at night. Now it's investment where they make us sleep well. That's what you should put your money into. You don't go and put your money in equities and expect to sleep well. So when we talk about diversifying and compounding risk are long-term investments where your money compounds and make more for you. And diversifying the portfolio, you've spread your risk. So when one investment option is not doing well, another cushions. You spread it. We have different investment options here in Norway which can help you.
Wow. Another thing you also need to look at is, yes, you can invest in the stock market, but you also need to know how comfortable you are. You need to know the right stock market to go into, the right stocks to go into in the stock market. If you do that, it will help you to be able to balance your investment. So we're not saying don't invest in the stock market. We're saying you need to know if you can take that risk in the stock market. But if you have a financial advisor, it can actually advise you on the right stock mix to take. And it will help you to know the right kind of investment to do. And that will make it more comfortable for you. Now, another thing you need to know is you need to implement your plans and strategize. It's very easy to write a budget when you're broke. When you don't have any money at all, you're looking for money, you write a very nice budget. But once you have money, you forget about that budget until you get broke again. So the thing is, don't just write a strategy or think about it in your head. You need to take action. You need to implement it, and you need to work on it and make it work for you. And then you need to revise it from time to time as situations change. Like what happened in the market. There was a devaluation of the Naira, and a lot of people had currency risk. So they had to change their funds back. They had to change their investment portfolio back to currency, to US dollars. So now, right now, a lot of people have their investments in the dollar. Why? Because they are revising their goals and they know that their situations have changed. So they are revising their investment goals. They are going back to the drawing board to ensure that all the investment they're doing is actually going to help them to achieve their goal that they're trying to achieve. Now, what are the investment strategies for the 21st century, Jamila? Tell us some of them.
Talking of investment strategy for the 21st century, the first thing you need to have in mind is to create a long-term savings plan. So creating a savings plan simply means having a realistic plan that makes savings easy for you. A long-term savings plan is for the future. You're planning for the future. You need to have a financial goal, like you earlier mentioned. To have a financial goal, be it a car, a property, or there is an amount I want to have, you need to use your SMART theory. Like you earlier mentioned, you must be specific. This is the goal I want to achieve. This is the amount I want to have by December. Okay, is it measurable? Is it time bound? Is it realistic? Is it achievable? So all these things, you have to put them in place to be able to meet your financial goal. And you also need to learn to have a budget. In learning to have a budget, this is one of the most important in the important investment strategy. Budgeting is the process of evaluating an individual expenses. You write out, okay, this is my income. You write out what you need. You break them down. There's this rule about budgeting, this 50-30-20 rule. I don't know if anybody has heard about it. Where 50% goes to your needs. They are compulsory. They are necessities. 30% goes to your wants. You've worked and you've earned it, so you need to pay yourself. And 20% goes to your investment. I don't know if you've heard about it. So you have to break it down. You have to learn to budget. And you need to also take conscious and systematic steps towards fulfilling your financial goals. Savings is a culture. It's a habit that you need to impute in your lifestyle. You don't just start today and expect, okay, let me save 3 months and the rest. No, it's a culture. It's a long-term thing. You have to build it. You have to also monitor your expenditure. What comes in, what goes out. Like, for instance, I have a friend. What we do is we write it down. We monitor what we spend, where our money goes to, so that at the end of the year, you'll be able to account for, you know where your money is going to, you'll be able to account for your expenses, which is very important. Abiba, what do you think?
Yes, I agree with you totally. That's fantastic. You need to monitor how much goes to you. You can't just carry, let's say you have 5,000 naira. If you hold 5,000 naira today, before you get to the gates, it's finished. You can't even account for what happened to it. You just wake up and say, I had 5,000 naira just now. What happened to it? So if you don't monitor your expenditure, that's what happens. Let's say you go to the market. Maybe you went to the market to buy a pair of shoes. And our Igbo brothers now, they'll call you my color. Before you know it, you bought shoe, you bought bag, you bought belts. You are coming back to the market, you are coming back from the market, buying so many things you did not plan for. Or they are calling your name at the party. and it's sweeting you. The money you brought for the party to spray, you have finished spraying it. The money your friend gave you to hold, you have carried it, you have sprayed it. And you're paying back your friend from the ATM, from an income you did not plan for. Money that you kept aside that you not plan to spend for the party. So a lot of times, if you don't monitor your expenditure, these are the different ways money will leave you. So you need to work on it. Little money, 5,000, 2,000, it just goes. But there's so much you can do with it that can work for you for the future. We're going to still talk about that over time as time goes on. Now, another thing about it is that another strategy to use for the 21st century, Jamila, is to take advantage of innovations in technology.
Yes. Okay.
What do you think?
Okay. Technology innovation is the new oil now.
Absolutely.
So fintech is gradually transforming people's lives through the provision of better and relevant financial services. So unlike before, I know that some years back, who can remember how you make transactions, how you deposit money, how you withdraw money? The queues in banks were so exhausting. But now, at the comfort of your home, you can just pick up your phone and make bank transactions. That is technology. You don't have to go to banks to make transactions. That is the kind of innovations we're talking about. Habiba?
Wow, that's true. And another thing is, right now there are so many other places you can invest your funds. So many places, so many things have come up. Technology, the world has evolved. The younger ones are teaching us, and they're showing us so many other places you can invest your funds. You can do commodities, you can invest in cryptocurrency. A lot of people do cryptocurrency now. You can read about it, study more about it. And some countries like China, there are a lot of other countries that are actually even considering using cryptocurrency as their official currency. Not really as their official currency, but use it officially as part of their currency. So it shows you how innovative things have become, how things have evolved. So there are so many other asset classes you can invest in. At the comfort of your home, you can actually start an investment just with your phone. You can even track your investment just holding your phone in your house. Unlike before, where you used to go out and take cues or ask questions or try to read books and all of that. Things have changed. So we also need to step up and also be part of the innovation. And another important part is the fact that at this stage in your life, you need to have an investment. You can't afford not to have a plan, not to have a financial plan. We're in Nigeria, remember, you need to have a plan. I cannot overemphasize that. You need to have a plan. Now, another thing you also need to know about technology is the fact that, like, say, e-Naira has come up. So the world has gone digital. E-money, wallets. The world has gone, right now, people don't carry paper money anymore to move around. It shows you how the world has evolved, how things have changed. Now, another strategy you need to use for the 21st century is that you need to diversify your investment portfolio. That's another thing you need to look at, Jamila.
So talking of diversifying of your investment portfolio, we mentioned it earlier. So unlike before, where we mostly invest in shares or stocks, now we have much more investment options. We have the crowdfunding, we have commodity trading, we have digital currency. The craze for digital currency investment is the way forward in the financial industry. So we have, like you earlier mentioned, countries that are officially making use of that as a legal means of payment. And when we're talking of diversification and digital currencies, let's not misunderstand ourselves and get confused with the Ponzi schemes happening right now. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them coming up with different things, different investment options.
The truth is they actually mix us up. People actually confuse us to Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
They do, because the truth is, a lot of people, when you want to do an investment, you need to do your due diligence. You need to check to see who are the regulators, who are the people backing these investment companies. Ponzi schemes don't come as investment companies. Yes, they come and tell you, oh, we're doing investments. We invest in agri, we invest in this, we invest in that. But what are the measures put in place to protect your funds? Those are the things you need to look at. If not, my brother, one day you come in and see that there's no office and your money is gone. All your hard-earned money is gone because you're looking for big interest. So you need to diversify your investment portfolio in a way that you know that you're getting your funds back. Now, you need to check and see. Like we said, your risk tolerance. There's a stock market space. there's a fixed income space, there's a mutual fund space, so many money market instrument space, so many places, Euro bonds, corporate bonds, name them. There are so many other places you can put your funds. So what we do is in Norenbeja is we help you diversify them. Like if you put some funds in fixed income, for instance, and right now fixed income is not doing so well, we'll move it for you to treasury bills. If it's not doing too well, we'll move it for you into other investment instruments. So that's the good thing we do about diversifying. The good thing about diversifying your portfolio. If this portfolio gives you 5%, the next portfolio gives you 10%, the other one is giving you 2%, you see that you're balanced out very comfortably because you know that you are going back to review to see which one is doing better and you go back to it. Now, another thing you need to see as an investment strategy to use for the 21st century is to get out of debt and stay out. Jamila, I know you have something to say about that.
Yes. So when we talk about getting out of debt and staying out of it, people often misunderstand debt for a bad thing. So we know debt is basic. Yes, we all know that. So we have good debt and bad debt. Good debts are debt, are money you borrow to maybe expand your business or increase your revenue. While bad debts are money you borrow to fund lifestyle. They are not necessary. You don't need them. So you find out when you borrow this money for things, not for increasing your revenue, you find yourself in a deep trouble. So and it's really that puts you out of financial freedom. It leads to poor financial decisions also.
Yes, it can actually put you in prison. Imagine being in prison, but you're free, you're moving around freely. Because you're paying debt. Anytime income comes to you, you're giving it to other people. So you don't have anything for yourself. That can make you happy. It will make you miserable. So you need to get out of debt and stay out. Some of these things you don't need them. You don't need them. So why are you putting yourself under pressure to have them? If you can't buy that dress today, you can buy them tomorrow. So the truth is you need to get out of debt and stay out of debt. It's one thing to get out of debt. It's another thing to stay and remain out of debt. You can agree with me, Jamila.
I agree with you. And you also need to pay yourself 10 to 20% of what you earn. So paying yourself doesn't mean it's for you. This is 20% goes to your investment. I spoke to you earlier about the 50-30 rule. You've paid yourself the 30%. It has gone to your want. So this 20% goes to your investment, not savings, please. People, savings is money you put aside in a safe place for emergencies, for future purposes. Investments are long-term goals. You are putting them aside for long-term goals. I want to retire freely. I want to be safe when I retire. This is where your 20% goes to.
And you know, another thing, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad said something. He said, if you don't want to be poor in your life, invest, not save, at least 10% of what you earn. Invest it for the future. Because if you don't do that, what is the plan? Look at how often you hammer. You say, oh, maybe I'll just hammer, or one rich person will just remember me and just give me big money. How often does that happen in your lifetime? So you need to consciously grow these things for yourself, especially looking at how tough everywhere is. Jamila.
Okay, so
look at this.
Data released by USA Social Security Department states that out of 100 people at retirement, 29 people will be dead. 9 people will be dependent on their family, the other 2K people waiting for your salary. 12 people will be broke. 45 people will still be working at that age when you need to rest. 4 people will be financially independent, and 1 person will be rich. Please, wow. People, who do you want to be? Let's know. Do you want to still be begging at that age or waiting on your children? Which one do you want to be, Habiba?
I told you, me, I want to be either number 4 or number 1. JJ, I can't shout. Why would I, at this stage, at retirement, I'll now be depending on family and charity, or I'll be broke at that time? Please, God will not let that one happen to me. Like. So the thing is, we need to know that these things are realities. These are things that we need to work on. These are the things that we need to look out for. We need to be conscious of our lives and make decisions that will help our lives. Now, we're going to talk about our product and service offerings because these are the places you need to put your funds that will give you good returns on your investment. Now, we're going to talk about the mutual funds.
Okay, so talking of our product and services, Northern has investment options that meet your financial needs according to your risk profile. We have our mutual fund. A mutual fund is simply a professional managed investment vehicle that pulls funds together for collective investment in a diversified portfolio, which include bonds, stocks, money markets, and so on. So we offer two mutual funds in Northern. The money market is the first one. It's an open-ended fund that invests in short-term money market instruments, such as treasury bills, commercial papers, and so on. And the minimum investment amount here is 5,000 naira. And subsequently, you can grow your fund by adding 5,000 or more if you have. Our average yield for this fund is 8.32% presently, and the dividend is paid quarterly. We also have our Islamic Fund, which is an open-ended fund, a Sharia-compliant fund. It is invested in Sharia-compliant instruments that preserves investors' capital. We have things like Sukuk, but this Islamic Fund is not just for our Muslim brothers and sisters. It's for people who have ethical beliefs that don't want their money invested in alcohol, contraceptives, pork, and so on.
Yeah.
There are other parties to this fund to assure transparency. Apart from Northern being the fund manager, we have UTL, who are the trustees. They are like your policeman who touchlight your money, where the money is being put into, where we are investing the money into. We also have the custodians, UBA, where we warehouse the funds. So the money is not with us. You are assured of your capital and your investment.
Wow, that's beautiful. And you know, that's another thing that makes it different from a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme will not put all of these measures in place. So please, guys, let's be careful with how we put our funds. This is very, very important. Now, we have so many other investments you can do. You can invest in dollar, you can do the fixed income instruments, you can do euro bonds. You know, there are so many other asset classes you can invest in. But let me say this. Let me give you a scenario. You remember that 5,000 I've been telling you about, that you put 5,000 naira and you hold 5,000 naira, and before you know it, you cannot account for it. Imagine putting that 5,000 naira here. Let me give you two scenarios here. If you deposit 5,000 naira monthly for 20 years at 12%, because averagely, of course, if you look at investment interest rates, you see that you end up getting double-digit interest rates over time, averagely. Now, if you put 5,000 naira in 20 years, you get 4.9 million. This is money that you might not be able to account for just on your own. You say, oh, I just spent it. You can't even remember what you did with it. But look at this, 4.9 million is what you'll be able to keep for yourself as you're putting that 5,000 naira monthly. 5,000 is nothing to you. But imagine if you were doing more than that. Now, see another scenario of someone putting 5,000 naira at 10% per annum. You end up getting 3.7 million. Okay, imagine just putting that money, maybe you do it for 20 years and you just keep it maybe in a normal account and it's not fetching anything for you. It will give you 1.2 million. Can you see the difference between 4.9, 3.7, and 1.2? That's a huge difference. It also shows you just how much compound interest is your friend. Compound interest is amazing. Look at that. Imagine the difference between 1.2 million and 3.7 million or 4.9 million. The same amount, the same tenor, the same contribution, and the same returns on investment. It's amazing, unbelievable. Now, this tells you the power of compound interest. This is the best time to invest. Albert Einstein said something. He said, the eighth wonder of the world, one of the most important discovery of man, is the power of compound interest. Your ability for your 1 naira to become 1 naira 50 kobo, your 1 naira to become 2 naira. He said, he who understands it earns it. He who does not understand it pays it. Let me give you an example. Imagine you have, maybe your capital is, maybe you have been able to save maybe 5 million naira somewhere, and you put it in an investment and it's fetching you returns on investment. You can use those returns. Let's say you have an extra, let me even say maybe 500,000 on top of your money, 5.5 million. Your 500,000, you use it to, let's say you use it to pay bills, to pay a rent, just pay small expenses. Imagine for someone who doesn't even have an investment plan. If he wants to pay all of those things, where will he get it from? He'll get it from his capital. So that makes it different. For someone who has an investment, the investment is giving him returns. Those returns are helping him pay his bills. And he's not touching his capital. His capital is guaranteed. It's intact. While someone who is not doing that, is touching into his capital. So that's a huge difference. And that's the beauty of compound interest. If you fail to plan, according to Benjamin Franklin, you're actually planning to fail. Thank you very much. We're going to take questions now. And if there are any other comments anybody wants to take, but this is actually the best time to take the bull by the horn. As you have heard it, go and start doing something for yourself. Go and start investing. And I'm going to end with this. Instead of all the financial crises that shook the 21st century, the most crucial one was the one that affected our savings. So it doesn't just affect you, it affects your economy, it affects the country as a whole. If you don't have savings or you don't have an investment culture, it is not an act of choice, but a need to have an investment. It has become a need now. Remember what happened at COVID. Remember what happened to you. Remember when eventualities come in and you don't have a fallback plan. So you need to actually act now. Thank you very much. Jamila, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
No, I just want to say, please, you can put your questions in the Q&A session and we'll get to you shortly. Thank you.
Yes. So questions, any questions, don't be shy, join us, ask us your questions. Okay, so somebody asked, how do you join your service? Jamila, do you want to answer that?
Yes, so you can join us. You can check our website on www.norimbeja.com and you can see you can scroll through, there's somebody you can chat with there that will get back to you. We also have our phone number there. Our office is at number 11 Volta Street. We'll be waiting to meet you. Thank you.
Yes,
Abuja, thank you.
Much. Yes, and somebody else also asked, how flexible is your money market fund? Now, money market fund is so flexible that it has easy entry and easy exit. It's open-ended. So you can, after 30 days, of course, locking period of 30 days, you can come in at any time and go out at any time you like. So, the minimum for the money market fund is 5,000 naira. So with as little as 5,000, that my 5,000 I've been mentioning, you can actually start an investment with it. And then somebody else is asking here, how can I move my money out of money market fund? Can I move my money out of money market fund anytime?
Yes, you can do that. You can move your money out of money market fund. So we have a redemption form you need to fill. You can just send that. You don't even need to come to our office. You can just send that to your email address and you fill it and send it back to us and we'll process it.
I don't know if we still have time for more questions.
So someone is asking, what is our minimum investment amount?
Okay.
For mutual funds, our minimum investment amount is 5,000 naira, like we earlier mentioned, but we have other investment options. So to get that, you can call us or still check our website and chat with us.
I guess that's it. It's actually a wrap. We would like to thank everyone who joined us. We thank you so much for joining us. And we are going to see more about this series.
There is a question.
Okay, there's a question there.
There's a question. Do you have more than mutual fund products?
Okay. You want to take that?
Yes, we do. Like she mentioned earlier, we have our FX products, we have our classic investments, we have targeted investment, we have discounted investment, we have any kind of investment you want. We have treasury linked notes too. We have more investment products you want.
Can you see any other question?
Yes, we have investment. Do you have an investment for unborn child? Yes. So we have a product called the Kid Start account for children. So visit us again at number 11 Volta Street for more on that. Abuja for more on that. Or you can visit our website also for more information about our products.
Okay, so someone asked, somebody is asking, what's the percentage for Islamic Fund?
On Islamic funds, Islamic funds don't give percentage, we share profit, we do profit sharing. So when we started our Islamic fund, it was 100 naira per unit. And the fund is actually doing quite well because as at today, it's 100.68 naira per unit. So you can see the difference. Islamic fund don't do percentage, we share profits.
Absolutely. Okay, so somebody asked, Is your product rate visible for external clients? Yes, whenever you want to, you can actually know what the rate is. And like Jamila said, you can meet us. There are other ways you can reach us, and we'll tell you more about the rates. And of course, there's nothing like external clients. A client is a client. So if you look at it, you see that you know the rates by the time you come to us. We'll let you know for whatever product you want to go into. You will know the rates. We'll share it with you, and we'll let you know what the rates are. And then another question here says, okay, Jamila, you want to say something?
Okay, so Abiba, there's a question here on what the dollar option do you have?
Okay, so for the dollar options, we have what we call the FX Classic. Now, for FX Classic, it's like a fixed income, but it is in this time is done in foreign currency. We have an interest range from 2 to 4%, depending on the amount that you put in. But if you look at it, you see that we have Euro bonds and we have the FX Classic. So if you want to do like a fixed income, instead of just keeping your dollar in the bank, you can bring it to us. We'll give you good returns on your investment, and those dollars will give you good returns on your investment instead of just your money line, and it helps you hedge against currency risk. And another thing you need to look at is the euro bond. Now, the euro bond is another investment you can do in the dollar, and it has an interest rate of between 3 to 9%, depending on the amount and the tenor you want to do the investment. Those are the different dollar options you have. So with dollar, yes, you can make your investments. You can do an investment in dollar. Is there any other question there?
Yes. Could you throw more light on equities investment?
Oh, absolutely. Equities is stock market, investing in the stock market. Now, what happens when you invest in equities is that you invest in some stock market options, and it shows you become a shareholder, because if you buy into it, makes you become a shareholder in that company, and you have a number of shares depending on how much you buy into. So if you do that, it gives you returns in two ways. Capital appreciation. So let's say you buy it at 20 naira per unit and it becomes 25 naira per unit. You are getting an extra 5 naira on every money you invest. But you also need to know that if it drops, it also affects you. But the beauty of this kind of investment is that you need to know that it's a long-term kind of investment. So if you do this, let's say you start the investment, you need to think long-term. If you're doing this kind of investment, you're adding to it. So when that situation comes where the investments, the funds, the price of that equities that you invest drops. If it drops to, let's say you bought it at 20 naira, it drops at 10 naira, you know that your 1 million invested will no longer be 1 million. But that is the best time to also add to your investment, because you're buying it at a cheaper rate. So by the time it averages out, because stock market always goes that way, by the time it averages out, you're averaging out nicely. So you need to come to us. We'll show you the different good stocks to buy and how long to hold it for. And we check what is going on in the market, fundamentals. We look at what's going on in the economy, and it will help you to know which kind of investment and which kind of equities to buy. It also helps with that. So we also do, that's the major thing we do in equities. And then we help you buy the shares. You can actually trade yourself if you want to. You buy whatever shares you want to buy and sell whichever shares you want to buy. We'll let you sell. We'll let you know which one to buy and which one to sell. So it tells you the best decision to make concerning the stock market. Because as much as a lot of people have been burnt by the stock market, some people have actually enjoyed from the stock market. That's the beauty about this kind of thing. So it's just knowing the right information and know the right people to talk to advise you properly on the kind of investment you should be doing. Do we have any more questions there?
So someone is asking what. So Abiba, someone is asking, what if the person dies before 20 years? What will happen to his money? Definitely, you have a next of kin. Your next of kin will be contacted. We have another question. Do you have any investment with high returns?
Okay. Do you have any investment with high returns? Remember what I said? The higher the returns, the higher the risk. Yes, we have investment with high returns. We can actually talk about that one-on-one. We'll give you all the different options. Because of time, we'll not really go through all of that, but we'll also talk about that when we see one-on-one. If you check, you'll see where you can get to our website and you'll see our number. You can call. We can actually get to you, or you drop us your number. We can call you and do a one-on-one conversation with you to answer your questions. I hope that helps. And then another question here is saying, okay, can I add to my mutual funds account anytime? and have more than one product or fund? Of course you can. Now you can add to your mutual funds account anytime you like. That's why it's open-ended. So you can add to it from time to time. And that's actually why we talked about having an investment strategy, because you can build on that. You can use your mutual funds to build your wealth for yourself. Because as you're adding to it, it's growing your wealth and it's compounding for you and growing your funds for you. I hope that answers your question. I think I saw another question about
one more
diaspora.
question, Abiba. Do you have any investment package for diaspora?
Of course, we actually do. Like we said, we talked about the foreign currency investments. So with whatever currency you have, you can actually come in and do an investment with us with that currency. And we know how we work with diaspora, with people in diaspora. We give you your returns on that same currency, even for the Nigerians. Whatever investment you do, whatever currency you give us, we give you returns in that same currency. So yes, of course, we have an investment package for diasporans. Any other question? Can you see anyone?
No, that's
Did I
all.
miss any other question?
No, you didn't.
Okay. So in the absence of any other questions, we'd like to say thank you for joining us. Join us again. There are going to be other sessions like this. It might not be me and Jamila, but there are going to definitely be other webinars that will take place. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you had
Thank you very much, and have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.